Welcome to the True Grime Stories podcast, where in every episode, we'll unravel a new mystery of cleaning business transformation from a grimy mess to a great success. Join me, your host, Jeannie Henderson, as together we dig up cleaning business secrets that you've been dying to know. Hello and welcome to this next episode of True Grime Stories. And I am so glad you're here with us today because we're going to hear a great story from my friend Brittany Rivera with Clean by Nature in Newnan, Georgia. And I think you're going to really enjoy hearing Brittany's story. And Brittany has built a great business in Newnan, Georgia, starting in 2014. But as a lot of people do, she, once she was in it for a while, made some big changes and changed her business to a strictly eco-friendly cleaning service in 2016, hence the name Clean by Nature. And she really she was coming back into the workforce as a mom. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. We raise our kids and then we want to find something new to do. And that's exactly what Brittany did. And she also shares, here today and very openly on her website about how her son's type 1 diabetes diagnosis really kind of changed her life, dramatically changed the lives of her whole family. And she really had to have a flexible career. And that's the cool thing about the cleaning business. So I can't wait to hear more of Brittany's story and how she has built a great cleaning business and had some great results. So welcome, Brittany. So glad to have you here today on True Grime Stories.
Hi, Jeannie. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share my story and, what CBF has done for me and how I have really came out of my comfort zone is basically the moral of this whole story.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to hear that. So, when you got started, how was it when you first started your cleaning business? How did you get it started?
Yeah, so actually, I was, like you mentioned, a stay-at-home mom for 6 years to my two sons. Well, I have three sons, but one of them was older at the time. So my two sons, I stayed at home with them, and I wanted to get back into the workforce. And I actually had just started looking for jobs right before my son's diagnosis.
Okay.
And so I was out kind of looking for a job. My husband worked odd hours too. He worked at a restaurant. So, those hours can be really weird.
I know all about that. That's my
Yes,
background.
yes, you do. So he was working as a bar manager in a restaurant. And so I was trying to figure out how can I make my schedule, opposite of his so that someone could still be home with the kids all the time. And so that was already difficult in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
But then my son at 22 months old was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And when that happened, we spent 8 days in the hospital, just kind of learning how to care for him moving forward. And after that, I just knew, I have to find something that's flexible. I cannot be in somewhere where I can't answer the phone or I can't, I just have to be somewhere flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually posted a it's kind of like a Craigslist type thing, but it was just to this local area. At
Okay.
the time, it was called like Access Coweta. I don't even think it exists anymore.
Uh-huh.
But I posted in there and I just said, hey, I'm looking to pick up a few cleaning jobs. Anyone looking to have their house clean, pretty much. And I got like 2 phone calls off of that ad. And I still remember, of course, I think we all do, our first clients.
Right.
And and so I started with like 2 clients, and my husband came and he's like, I'm going to buy you a vacuum cleaner and I'm going to buy you a printer. So he went out and bought me a vacuum cleaner and a printer. And that's how it was born, basically.
Wow. 2 clients, a vacuum and a printer. I love that.
Exactly. Yes. So
Yeah.
that's how it got its start. And it just kind of went from there. It grew crazy. A lot of, word of mouth, as most
Mm-hmm.
of us do grow in the beginning, a lot of word of mouth. And it just grew like wildfire to the point where my husband was like, hey, what if I start cleaning with you? And at first I was like, I don't know how people are going to feel about that. I don't know how people are going to feel about like a man cleaning their house. But you know, I did want to get him out of that crazy work schedule that he
Right.
had. And
Mm-hmm.
so we did it. So he basically quit the restaurant business. He got a part-time job at like Home Depot.
Okay.
And the other
Mm-hmm.
rest of the time he was helping me clean.
That's
Um,
great. We
so we
started
were
that way too. My husband and I were both cleaning in the field, and
awesome.
my husband was a great cleaner. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, guys can be great cleaners, but it is at first you're like, "Oh, I don't know if the customers are going to like that." But yeah,
Yes.
it worked out great
Yes.
for us.
I know now we have customers. It's like, you have to send William, like, don't send anyone else, send William, which we're trying to pull him out of the field too. But
Mhm.
anyway, but yeah, so he started helping me, and that meant we were able to take on more clients, of course. And so I'm telling you, in the beginning, when it was just him and I, we were cleaning 4 to 5 houses 5 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So at our, like, this is crazy, but at our clients that we knew like really well and we had good relationships with, we would take naps at their houses. Because we would start at like 7
I
a.m.
love
and
that.
not finish until like 7 p.m.
Oh my goodness. I
I
can so
know.
relate. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
And
goodness.
and also we were cleaning a church in the morning and a bank at
Mhm.
night.
Oh,
So we
wow.
had so much, like, it was crazy.
You were grinding. Yeah.
Really grinding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
My
gosh.
Yeah, my
So
mother-in-law had moved here, so she was keeping the kids, just
I
in
was gonna
case
say
everyone's
then yeah,
wondering, like,
right.
what was happening with the kids.
Yeah, and then you have to come home and be parents and all of
Yes.
that. And, so you obviously business is taking off. You were attracting a lot of great customers. When did you kind of hit a point where it's like, okay, you know, this is great, but I can't continue it doing it this way anymore. Like something's not working, something's broken. What did that kind of grime scene, as we call it, look like for you?
Yeah, so definitely it was the fact that we were working 12-hour days. I mean, and we had actually kind of tried to hire people,
Hmm.
but it just wasn't working. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. And so the people we hired, they would do a crummy job or they just wouldn't show up at all. And so we knew we had to do something different. And so I had been, I think, in cleaning business profits at the time. So the
Hmm.
first time
That's
I
the
actually,
Facebook group,
the
right?
Facebook group, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the first time I actually, well, I know the first time I ever talked to Debbie was in 2016.
Hmm.
Um, and this was back when she like did the little 15-minute phone consults herself, which is
Right. Hmm.
so valuable. Like, you don't even know how valuable that is. But
Yeah, she's
she,
so good with just even giving you a little bit of push, even in those short phone calls, right?
exactly, yes. And it was just kind of to see if CBF was a good fit for me, you know.
Mhm.
And at the time, I was just, when she told me, you know, the price of it, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? You know,
Mhm.
because we were just like surviving basically. I mean, we weren't charging enough, you know, so I think we were at like $20 an hour back then. We weren't
Yeah,
charging enough.
right.
Yeah,
That's the other thing too, is we often, we take all the work, any work that comes our way. We don't charge enough for it. We don't protect our boundaries. We don't have any boundaries for ourselves as the owners, right? We burn
yeah.
ourselves out, but it's not sustainable.
No, it's not. It's not. And in that phone call with her, like, the one thing she did tell me, and the one thing that I definitely took away from it was, she's like, you might not be able to afford this program now because your prices are not where they need to be. She's like, I need you first, starting today, to quote everyone at 35 to 40 an hour. So
Mhm.
this was in 2016. So, you know, we came a long way from that too. But she's like, starting today. And I was so scared. I was like, no one is going to book with me.
But what was the experience that you had?
I still booked. I didn't book as many, of course,
Right.
because I wasn't the cheapest cleaner on the block anymore.
Mhm.
But I still booked, you know, a good amount. We still grew like crazy. I mean, we still never had trouble. And I was so surprised. I'm like, I cannot believe. And at the time I was still doing, in-person walkthroughs, home
Right.
assessments. So I was selling myself more than I was selling the job.
Mhm.
I was really selling my personality and who I was. And that's what people really bought into, I think. And just a lot of it was still word of mouth. So they had heard about us from their friends.
Mhm.
So I still closed a pretty good amount, even when I literally doubled my rates.
Yeah. So instead of taking all the customers, because anybody will take you when you're cheap, right?
Yes.
Now
Yes.
you're getting the right customers, the ones who are willing to pay what you're worth so that you can run a professional business and hire and all of those things.
Yeah.
So you're in this situation, you're still kind of stuck. What was the thing that, you know, you found that helped you get out of that grime scene? What was the thing that pushed you to where you were able to grow your business to where it is today?
Yeah, so this story is really an 11-year story. It's been a
Mhm.
journey,
Yeah. Yep.
So
You
like I
don't
said,
start there's more than one grime scene in every
oh,
life, right? And more in
yes,
every cleaning business, but
yes.
yeah, it is a journey for sure.
It is. So like I said, the first time I spoke to her was in 2016. I really couldn't afford the program. So I did everything that she would offer on in the cleaning business profits group. So if she
Mhm.
had like a $100 little course, I would take it. If she did like the live, like the 7-day live thing she does,
Mhm.
I would take them. Like I
Challenges and
was,
things, yeah.
yes, exactly. So I was as involved as I could afford to be at the time. And by raising my prices, of course, I was seeing more profit coming in to us. And so in 2020 is when I actually joined CBF.
All
And it
right.
was in February of 2020.
Oh, so right before the infamous CBF Live in
Yes,
March
and right
2020.
before right before COVID decided to shut down the world.
Mhm.
So so
Well, good thing, right?
yeah,
Imagine if you hadn't joined at that point and you
that's
had to
true.
go through COVID by yourself.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is so true because she did so many, lives. And that's when I think the Buffalo thing was born,
Yes,
that
it
we can weather
was.
the storm.
Mhm.
And that was so helpful. But I was honestly in such a like victim mentality,
Mm.
like I just
Mhm.
put all this money into this and now like the world is shut down. Like, what in the world am I going to do? So it was really good to have
Mhm.
that encouragement from CBF and from all the CBF members. But I kind of did like, I was dealing with my own, honestly, I guess like mental health issues too, just like going through that. And so I didn't really implement everything that I got in CBF until the following year. So
Right.
once we kind of made it out of that, in 2021, March of 2021 is when I hired my first employee the CBF way.
Okay. Did you have
Yes,
some employees before that, but it just wasn't kind of the
exactly.
successful model for hiring?
Yes, it was
Okay.
awful. I mean, it was such a mess. People, like I said earlier, they wouldn't show up. If they did, they would do a crummy job. And I was having to go and like correct what they did. It was a mess. And
Well,
that's
and
when
I
my
think
husband
that's
was like,
why, a lot of people end up giving up
yeah,
is they try to hire and they have you know, 2 or 4 or 6 or in my case 10 bad hires.
yes.
And and they're like, I'm not good at this. I can't
Mhm.
hire and they give up. I see a lot of cleaning businesses go backwards at that point because
Yes.
they think hiring is some magical thing that only a few people are capable of, but it's really knowing the right way is what
Yes,
you
it
found out.
really is. It really is. And I can definitely attest to the fact that there are great people out there that want to work and want to do this job, and they will take pride in it and they will treat it like it's really their business because at the end of the day, those clients are really their client. They're servicing those clients
Right.
and they know if they don't do a good job, then, that client cancels, and then that's their loss of income at the end of the day because that's their
Mhm.
client, you know.
Well, I love that
Um,
you said that because you hear all the time, there's nobody who wants to work.
yeah,
There's nobody who can do as good a job as I can. And there's nobody this and nobody that. But what you just said is so important for us to all remember. There are people out there. And if you look around you and there's all these successful cleaning businesses, they must have good people working there.
yeah,
So where are they getting them? So that's
that's
great. Thank you
exactly,
for
yeah.
saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing with CBF too. The community is just priceless because you see even people in my own area, you know, because you can look at different areas and say, oh, well,
Mhm.
maybe that's different over there, you know, but there's people in like my state that have amazing cleaning businesses with, you know, 20 employees. So it's like, hello, if they can do it, then I can definitely do it. I just have to crack the code. Like, how do I find those good people? And I really
Mhm.
think the secret to that is um, you have to kind of practice interviewing. You know, you have to learn what to look for in people. And it does take
Mhm.
a little bit of a learning curve to learn what to look for in people and to learn what you want and to really you have to hire them based on your culture. So like in my business and then I think most CBF businesses, it's
Mhm.
like a family based culture. So we want
Mhm.
you're working Monday through Friday, you're not working evenings. We want you to be home with your family. I'm a mom, you know, I
Right.
want you to, if you're a mom, I want you to have time with your family. And I
Mhm.
think that is, from what I hear from all of our applicants now, I say, hey, what drew you into this job? It's always that. It's, you know, I can tell you're a family business. I can tell that you know, care about my family. I'm going to have like a family, you know, work life balance. And that's really what drew me in. And when you find the people that's what the culture they want, you will keep them. Most of my cleaners now have been with me 2 or more years.
That's great. Doesn't
Yeah.
that feel good?
Yes, it's amazing. And I love them. They are amazing. Like I said, they treat it like, you know, like it's theirs and they really
Mhm.
care. And yeah.
Oh,
So
that's so great. Well,
yeah. So
congratulations on that.
thank
So, what have you found is like the main thing that keeps you out of getting back into another grime scene?
um so for me, it's doing things that make me uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was one of my big hurdles from the beginning, from the moment I spoke to Debbie in 2016 until I joined, and still working my way through that up until literally today.
Mhm.
um, is just doing things that make me uncomfortable. If you would have, you know, if you would have seen me years ago, I was this person that um I was pretty standoffish. I was very shy, and I knew like I couldn't grow a business that way. Um,
Mhm.
so I've had to do a lot of things that have challenged my comfort zone a lot. Um, you know, if it's I there's always that quote like if your dreams aren't scary enough, then they're not big enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really live by that now because I can see like the things that have brought me the most progress are doing the things that make me the most uncomfortable.
So, what's one of those examples?
So I just literally completely got out of the field this year. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so this
Congratulations.
thank
That's
you.
a huge deal.
It is huge. So,
You are
like I
officially
mentioned,
mop free.
yes, exactly. So,
Congra
like I mentioned, my husband and I, this was it for us. Like this was our only source of income. And
Mhm.
when it's your only source of income, it's like you have to make it. You know, you don't have a
Mhm.
choice. You have to do it. And so it was hard to let go of like those clients that you knew were going to cancel on you when
Mhm.
you told them I'm not going to be cleaning for you anymore.
Right.
It was hard to let go of those because you see it as, you know, oh my gosh, that's like $150 a week, you know? But when you really start to think from like the CEO mindset, it's like, okay, but I could miss a call worth $6,000 a year while I'm cleaning this job.
Oh, yeah, that is
Yeah.
so true, but it takes us, like, stepping, out of our business and kind of looking at it from the outside to see what we're missing because we get so caught up on being in the business. We can't
Yes.
really figure out how to be working on the business instead of in it. That is
Yes.
so good. And it's the one thing that it's a big step that a lot of people never make.
Right.
Right. They never get out of the field. Even when they have employees, they're still in the field. So I'd
Mhm.
like to come back and talk more about this because this is, I know, a life-changing time for you. And it can be a huge life-changing time for all of us in the cleaning industry. So, is your cleaning business a grime story? There's no need to stay stuck in the muck because you're not alone. With over 500 active members and more than 500 graduates of our Cleaning Business Fundamentals program, CBF is the #1 cleaning business academy in the world and has created more mop-free millionaires than any program in the industry. Learn more and let CBF take your residential cleaning business from a grime story to a gleaming success. Welcome back, everyone, to True Grime Stories. We're here with Brittany Rivera, and she just revealed an amazing step that she's made in the last year that is, taking her business to the next level. So, Brittany, thank you for being with us again and sharing this important step of taking the mop out of your hand, stepping out of the field, risking losing clients, and taking on that CEO mindset. So, when you aren't cleaning in the field, what do you do with yourself all day?
Oh my gosh, there's so much to do. There's more there's more to do than when you were cleaning, as you know. Um, but that was part of my comfort, right? Like I'm comfortable cleaning. I don't know if I know how to be an owner. I don't know if I
Mhm.
know how to run a business, So that was really part of like getting out of my comfort zone.
Mhm.
So now I am managing social media. I am learning how to do like Google Ads.
Okay.
Of course, managing the employees that are in the field. With their deep cleans, of course, we have, lead techs. So checking in with them on the jobs, making sure that the
Mhm.
jobs are going as planned.
What size
Um,
is your team now?
so we have 6 full-time
Okay.
employees.
All right. Wow.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. And like we just got I know Faith did like the trainer success course with the
Mhm.
binder. So I've been printing those binders this week and getting that ready to go. There's so much to do. Networking is huge. That's a big jump outside of my comfort zone that I've made, is just noticing that, like I said earlier, people are really buying into you. They're not buying necessarily into your business, they're buying into you. So the
Mhm.
more connections you can get out in your community and make with people, the more you're going to see your business grow,
That's
for
for
sure.
sure. That's for
Yeah.
sure. But I talk to a lot of cleaning business owners when they're at the point where you are now and they're out of the field and they're just lost. They don't know where to start, what to work on next, that kind of thing. But what have you found, now that you are out of the field, you're able to work on all these things. What are some of the results that you're seeing from that?
So since I've been out of the field, I actually just started kind of pulling myself back slowly. So first I took like Monday and Friday off, and then I took like Thursday and Wednesday, and then Tuesday, because Tuesday was when I had like my one last recurring client. So I did it slowly since
Mhm.
August of last year, and
Great
our rev
strategy. That's how you do it. Doesn't have to be like,
all at
cold
once.
turkey, right?
Yes, exactly.
Did that client quit?
Not as of yet.
There
Not
you
as of,
go.
but I do
See?
have a couple that did.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's fine.
It
It's
wasn't
not.
the end of the world.
No, it wasn't. There we replaced them already.
Right. Did
It's
you replace them with someone who was paying as much or more?
as much. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, my prices have been pretty well since I've been in CBF, so they've taught me to keep
Yeah.
my prices good.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're paying just as much as that person, but actually, like those people were like monthly, and these people are biweekly.
Oh, so they're double the
So
size, really. You're getting double the
exactly,
revenue.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing is letting go. This is a comfort zone thing is nobody likes rejection. Nobody likes to be told we don't want you anymore.
No.
But what you really did was you chose that it didn't matter if they stayed or not. And that's really the power of choice that you have. It's not them leaving you, it's you leaving them.
Yes.
And a lot of us struggle with that because we're like, oh, we don't want to leave those clients. But
Mm,
if that's what it takes for them to stay, they are holding you back. Right?
exactly. That's so
Yeah.
true. And I still remember what Debbie said in like one of the modules where she says, like, they're not loyal to you. You
I
know,
know. It's so
you
hard to
think,
hear.
yes, you think they're loyal to you, but they're not, because if they were, then they would be happy for your growth. They would be happy that you are, expanding your business. And I will say 90% of my clients are like that, which is a
Yeah.
blessing.
Oh, isn't it
Um,
great? It's so
yes,
great. Yeah.
yes. But those 10%, it's like, okay, we'll replace you. It's fine.
Yeah. I can go find somebody else. And you might be surprised how many of them end up coming back.
That's true. That's true.
They go out and try somebody else, and then they're like knocking on your door,
Yeah,
a year later, like, hey, will
yeah.
you take me back?
Because at the end of the day, it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to hire someone that you know nothing about. Whenever I have like vetted this person, you
Mhm.
supposedly trust me. I've been in your house for years. Um,
Right.
so why would you not trust me to like find an acceptable replacement?
Yeah.
Right.
I love
Um,
that argument. That's so
yeah.
good. When somebody says to you, well, I don't want you to stop cleaning. I only want you. That's a great response right there. Anybody who's listening or watching today, write that down. What Brittany just said, that's solid gold. That's a great way to explain to the client how you're still going to take care of them
Yes,
instead of
exactly.
going out and starting all over again. Oh,
Exactly.
that's
And
really good.
yes, exactly. And so what you asked, like the changes I've seen is
Mhm.
like our revenue has doubled so far.
Wow.
We were at like 3,500 a week and now we're at 7,000 a week.
Oh my gosh. Whew.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
So
huge.
it's so worth it to get out of the field. I know it is so scary. I know it is like, oh my gosh, but you're going to see the results so quickly.
Yeah.
If you just apply yourself and you do what you're supposed to do with your business, keep track of your numbers. I know that's a big CBF thing, but that has helped
Mhm.
me so much. Just keep track of your numbers and know where the issue lies. So the next month you can fix it. Um,
Mhm.
and
But it
keeping
was,
track.
I mean, just look how much it's paid off for you.
Yeah,
And people get the idea of, well, if I keep cleaning, I get to put that money in my pocket.
exactly.
And
Yes.
what you don't understand is by putting that money in your pocket, you're throwing a whole bunch of other money out the window that you could
Yes,
have,
you are.
right?
Yes, you
Yeah.
are. Yes, the things you do when you're out of the field are 10 times the value of what you're doing when you're in the field,
Mhm.
or more, 100 times the value of what you're
Right.
doing when you're in the
Instead of
field.
servicing one customer, you're out working on getting 10 more and 10
Exactly,
more and 10
exactly. And
more.
you can answer the phone, you can like now I this is just within the last year too, like following up with your current clients because I didn't have
Mhm.
time to follow up with my current clients. I was literally cleaning 40 hours a week and then maybe I had 10 hours a week to come home and work on my business. So it just wasn't sustainable.
Mhm.
And you can't grow a business that way. You just can't.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then staying in touch with your clients, just following up with them, answering the phone and being able to talk to new clients. I'm not kidding you. I never really spoke to a client on the phone until August of last year. It was all through text or email, or like when I used to do walkthroughs, of course it was walkthroughs, but I really never even spoke to like a client on the phone. It was
Wow.
all like through text and yeah.
So
So
what's the difference? Because I think this is a really important lesson for all of us. Because in this day and age, we're getting so disconnected from other human beings because
yes,
and the phone is in the middle.
yes, I
And we trust the phone to convey our thoughts and messages, but it's not the same.
mm-mm.
And it's really a crutch and it's a shortcut and it's kind of a cop out, really,
It is.
when
I
it
agree.
comes to communication. So what's the difference when you speak to people compared to just messaging with them? What are some of the kind of results or comments or feedback that you're seeing because of that?
Oh my gosh, I have so much to say about that. So that was one of my comfort zone things as well.
Mhm.
Because I just didn't really like to sell. Like if people say, "Oh no, that's too much," I'm just like, "Okay, bye." I didn't really like to sell or like push myself onto people. Um, but you you get practice with those those rejections, and you learn how to
Mhm.
kind of overcome them. And I think when you can convey by speaking to them the difference in your service and maybe a lower priced service, um they when they hear that difference, it's much different than like seeing it on paper or seeing it in a text message or an email, or seeing
Mhm.
it on your website. When they hear it
Mhm.
directly from you and you communicate that to them and kind of like relate their needs to the service, my close rate has gone up significantly. Now I will not
Mhm.
give a quote until I've spoken to you.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
That I love that. I
yeah,
can't say enough about how important that is for people's growth, and I think so many people are missing a huge opportunity by creating those bonds of having a conversation compared to trying to text. If we think about it, we don't like to read words, you
true.
know. We like scan.
Yeah,
So if you send someone a big long email that says all the same things that you would say in a phone call, they're not going to absorb that because they're going to choose not to read it. But
yeah.
if you're in a phone call, they have to listen. And it's just such a missed opportunity when we don't have those. So, wow, congratulations. I mean, that right there for the rest of your life is going to pay off for you and in
Yes,
so many big ways, but especially in the business that you're in now. So, what are
definitely.
the plans for your future? You've doubled the size of your business, you're mop free. What is this new freedom like? And,
Ah.
what's coming for you and your family?
Yeah, so I mean, it is amazing. Like this is where I always wanted to be. I mean, of course, the sky is really the limit with CBF, with the community, but I so my goal for this year is to hit a 750,000 run rate by the end of the year. So I know we can do it. It was 600,000. I was like, "No, we can do 750. We're
Shoot
going to push for
big. Yeah.
750." Yes.
Shoot for the moon. All
Yes,
right.
exactly. So that is our goal for this year. I'm, the freedom I have now that I'm not like cleaning all the time to be able to grow the business is just like, it's honestly like, I can't even put it into words. It's like, you just have so much, like my brain is so ADHD, like it's bouncing all over the place. So when I used to be in the field, I would take out my phone and like put in the notes that I was thinking of at that moment. And now, I'm here and I can actually implement the things that are on my brain. Like we didn't even have labels on our bottles until this year because I had no time to make them and print them out and get them put on the bottles and crazy stuff. But
Yeah.
just there's so many things that you want to do, but when you're cleaning all the time, you just don't have time to do them, and you're just doing all you can just to get by.
Right.
um yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well,
definitely we're excited for the future for sure. We're hoping to have my husband out by the end of this year too, because he is still in the field.
you can do
um
it.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
do it. Put him on the 90 days mop free plan.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. So he
Yeah.
will be out too, and then just both of us together, what we can do. I know we're going to be at $1 million, I think, by the end of next year for sure.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Well, congratulations, Brittany. I'm so
Thank
inspired
you.
to hear your story. And there are a whole bunch of people who hearing this will have hope that they can do it too. That and understanding the difference of when you're in the field, how you're actually holding your business back and to see, I can see it on your face. You're just glowing to see
Yeah.
that release, that freedom of like, I can finally do all the things I've been like dreaming about and act on all the ideas I'm having
Yes.
and getting out there and doubling the size of the business and beyond.
Yes.
So like you
Yes.
said, you're completely limitless when you do that. When you are doing what you can with your two hands, you are limited by what you can do with your two hands, right?
Exactly. Yes,
And
exactly.
but when you are just using your brain, it's whatever you can imagine. That's what you can
Yes.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. Well,
100%.
I'm gonna enjoy watching your rise over the next several years. So what's leaving our audience today? What's one last piece of advice for people listening to us today, whether they're getting ready to start a cleaning business or they're in the cleaning business?
If it seems scary, do it because that's what's going to take you to the next level. If you're comfortable, you need to stop doing that because whatever is, making you feel comfortable is not causing you to grow. The scary things are what are going to cause you to grow or help you to grow.
Oh man, so good. Write
Yeah,
that one down and put it on your mirror, everybody.
I
That is so great.
did.
That's right, and that's how we get stuff done.
Yeah,
I do the same thing. Have to constantly be inspiring myself to do the next thing because there's always something scary ahead of you. And
exactly.
yeah, you just got to
Yeah.
keep doing the scary stuff. Well, so good. Well, thank you, Brittany. What
Thank
a joy.
you.
And to everyone listening today, check out Brittany's business, Clean by Nature in Noonan, Georgia. And she's doing great things. And I love her example of telling her story on her website. So check that out. And be sure and come back next week to see and hear our next guest. And if you love this episode, we'd love your review on whatever platform you like to listen to. Be sure and share, download, and subscribe. And if you'd like to know more about cleaning business fundamentals, feel free to click the link in the show notes to set up a free call with me. I'd love to talk with you about your business. Thank you for being part of True Grime Stories, Brittany. We'll see
Of
you
course.
soon. Bye, everybody. That's a wrap on today's True Grime Stories. Thanks for joining us in uncovering the secrets of cleaning business success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download, and check out our show notes for links and info from today's episode, and to learn more about our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Join us next time as we solve another True Grime story.